All right, got a different video for you today. I get a lot of emails from companies trying to get me to show their stuff on my YouTube channel. And I've had a couple that send me stuff and they're not that great, or I'd usually just say no thanks or just don't respond because I don't have time. But in this case, I got an email from this company called OneOdio, I think it's pronounced with an O, and got my interest piqued when I heard that they had low latency wireless headphones with some crazy new technology. I said, sure, send them over. I can't guarantee anything, but if they look good, I will show them off. So they're not paying me to make the video, but they sent me a pair of these headphones that cost $240 Canadian, so probably a lot less in America. I'm not sure, but I do have a discount code as well. So all that aside, they are not paying me to make the video. They sent me the pair. That's why it says paid promotion at the beginning of the video, but they don't get to see the video or anything like that. So I'm just going to share my honest opinions about them. And in this case, I found something that I think is really neat. For me, the most important thing was this low latency thing. And I don't know if you guys have tried making music on your laptop with things like your AirPods or with a pair of Beats. I've got a pair of Beats in here as well, which sound really good, but the latency is horrible. So if you try and play something on a keyboard or try and play something on some kind of pad controller, it's not going to feel good. And you're going to realize really quickly that you need a wired connection. So these ones tout 20 milliseconds of latency, and I've done a bit of testing, and I have another video I'll point you to where a guy does an actual recording test, and you can see that it is indeed around 20 milliseconds of latency, which isn't instant for sure. There's still a bit of latency, but it's fast enough for you to do things like play keyboards, and even fast enough for you to do things like pads, like the Machine Plus. So that's all it is. You take this transmitter, you plug it into whatever you want, and you set it to this high-speed mode, and you get high-speed sound. So for somebody in a live situation, this would be actually probably pretty sweet because maybe you're moving from one thing to another. I think of artists like FKJ. You want to have a pair of headphones if you're doing live looping stuff, and they need to be really fast. So you could get around without the cable from your headphones interfering. It would be amazing. So for live use for that kind of thing, and of course for DJs, they really are pushing these pair of headphones with DJs. But for me, I am also a videographer. So another thing that I think is super cool about these, and probably going to be the biggest use for me as a videographer, is I can now plug these into the camera. And maybe I'm shooting an interview. Recently, I was shooting some interviews of musicians. And I have my mic on the artist, and I'm trying to go around and film, and I'm also trying to monitor and make sure that their volume level isn't clipping, that the microphone is still working, and you really have to have a pair of headphones on to do that. So normally what I would do is have a really long cable, and I'd be tethered to the camera that has the sound on it. Now I can plug this transmitter in to the camera, push out sound from the camera straight to my headphones, and I can be anywhere up to 8 meters away and have sound that is almost perfectly in sync. It's quite incredible. I was even thinking if there was like a bit of a lag, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's almost instant, totally usable. So there is my number one use for these headphones that you won't find in any other video. But that's kind of a niche thing for someone like me. If you're into video production, these could be really incredible. If you are making YouTube videos and you like to wear headphones so you don't have the sound of your room while you're shooting your videos, these would also be really cool at 20 milliseconds latency. So because of this special little transmitter, you can plug anything into it. I plug this into my record player, and I can walk around my studio listening to Herbie Hancock through the headphones, the greatest record of all time, maybe. I can walk around and hear my vinyl anywhere. Of course, I'm kind of defeating the purpose of vinyl and converting it to digital and sending it over the airwaves, whatever. But you still can do stuff like that. You can also plug it into a synthesizer. You can plug it into your Machine Plus. You can plug it into your computer. Another thing that we do in my studio, I do sound and music for the Paw Patrol Academy video game. Yes, and I am also voice artist in that one, and my wife is, and my kids are, the pups and Ryder. And for those sessions, my wife often does the recording, and I will sit on the couch and be the producer guy, and we have the artist, doing their lines. And now what I can do is plug this into the headphone output of my audio interface, and I can sit there and relax, and I don't have to have a huge headphone cable going all the way to the couch. So another great use for these headphones for producers in studios. So there's a whole bunch of different reasons that I'm really excited about these headphones. And another thing you can do is you can also plug it in, of course. You can have instant audio if you want that. And they've done something really neat. They've kind of got these two different jacks here. So you can plug in an 1/8 inch jack on one side, or you can also plug in, if you have 1/4 inch and you just want to go 1/4 inch out, you can plug into the other side and have 1/4 inch out. So it's kind of neat having options. And then you can also hook these up over regular old Bluetooth. These apparently have, I think, 90 hours if you're using the high-speed transmitter setup, and 120 hours if you're using, I think, just the wired, plugged in over wires, something like that, but it's still a ridiculous amount. And apparently it takes 5 minutes to quick charge, and then you get like an hour or two of playback as well, and then 2 hours to charge fully. So battery life is really not an issue. And then the other thing I would say is that they are quite comfortable. So they fit over my giant head. They do a lot of isolation, so if you want closed back headphones, these ones would be good for that. I compared them a lot to my AKGs, and the sound quality is not studio quality in terms of what you would get from something like a nice pair of AKG K240s. These have been my trusty headphones forever. If you want to mix, I would say that these are not mixing headphones, but they're definitely good enough and sound great in terms of like just enjoying music and for listening for things like levels and delivery and stuff like that, like I'm going to be doing in the studio. I saw someone comment online that Audio-Technica has a pair of headphones, a Bluetooth pair of headphones that has low latency audio as well. And these ones are 20 milliseconds. And from what I could tell, the Audio-Technica ones are around 35 milliseconds. And 35 milliseconds is getting up there to the point where you just have too much latency to be usable in a musical scenario. And for me, it's like, I want to be able to play something and not feel too much lag. And with 20 milliseconds, I am just at the threshold of not being bothered by it. And they are a little bit heavier. They're heavier than these AKGs, but not that much heavier actually, considering they have, a lot of technology built inside them. There is a bit of noise when you're using this low latency transmission method, but the drivers are so loud on this that sometimes I found I just had them cranked up a little too loud, so I back them off to appropriate levels and turn up the audio on, say, my computer or whatever device I was listening on, and the noise is kind of negligible in my opinion. I really do think they're great technology with this super fast, low latency thing, and I don't see anything else out there like that on the market right now. So yeah, I have a 15% off discount in the description, so check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. And don't expect too many more videos like this from me, because I usually don't like doing this kind of gear review stuff, but if something really cool pops up, I will definitely show you. So thanks to OneOdio for sending this over. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and all that, and I'll see you in the next video.